Have you ever felt like you're stuck in the same place no matter how hard you try? Like you're moving, but going nowhere? Listen, what if I told you that changing your life doesn't take a year, or even a month? It could start in just 3 days. Sounds crazy, right? But here's the truth most people won't tell you. You've been sold the idea that transformation has to be slow, complicated, and full of struggle. That you need to figure things out first. That you need to feel ready. But what if that's the biggest lie of all? I used to think I needed more motivation, more time, more clarity. What I really needed was to stop overthinking and just take the first step. And that's exactly what this video is about. If you've ever felt like life is slipping through your fingers, if you've ever caught yourself saying, "I'll start tomorrow," and tomorrow never comes, then you need to hear this. Stay with me until the end. Because in the next few minutes, you're going to discover how 6 simple habits can break the cycle, unlock clarity, and give you back control over your time, your mind, and your life. Don't scroll away. Don't watch later. This might be the wake-up call you didn't know you were waiting for. Are you ready? Let's begin. Habit number 1. Prioritize like your life depends on it. Let's start with something simple but powerful. Most people don't struggle because they're lazy. They struggle because they wake up every morning without a plan. They check their phones, reply to notifications, scroll for a while, and then spend the rest of the day reacting. Not creating. Not choosing. Just reacting to everything that gets thrown their way. And then they wonder, why am I so exhausted? Why does it feel like I'm doing everything but getting nowhere? Here's the harsh truth. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're doing too much of the wrong things. You see, most people confuse being busy with being productive. They chase dozens of little tasks, but ignore the few that actually move them forward. And I know this because I used to live that way. I'd start each day with a full to-do list. Emails, meetings, errands, little chores. Felt good to check things off. It gave me a fake sense of progress. But deep down, I knew I wasn't building anything meaningful. Until one day I tried something different. I stopped asking, "What do I have to get done today?" and started asking, "What actually matters today?" That one shift changed everything. Here's what I did. Every morning before I looked at my phone or opened my laptop, I wrote down the top 3 priorities for the day. Not 10, not 7, just 3 non-negotiable tasks. These weren't just random to-dos. They were the kind of tasks that if I finished them, I could say, today was a win. Sometimes it was work-related. Sometimes it was personal, like calling a loved one or scheduling that health appointment I kept avoiding. The point is, these 3 priorities aligned with the life I actually wanted to build. And when I stuck to that system, something incredible happened. I stopped ending my days feeling frustrated. I stopped spinning in circles. And I started moving forward, intentionally, clearly, and without burnout. Why does this work so well? Because when you choose your top 3 priorities ahead of time, you eliminate decision fatigue. You stop wasting energy wondering what to do next. And you begin your day with clarity and purpose, before the world can interrupt you. Think about it. How many times have you started your day with good intentions, only to get hijacked by emails, text, social media, or other people's demands? By the time you sit down to focus, you're already mentally drained. But when you start your day with your most important task, before anything else, you send a powerful signal to your brain. This matters. I'm in charge. And that momentum? It carries you through the rest of your day. So how do you apply this in your own life? Start tonight. Before you go to bed, write down the 3 most important things you want to accomplish tomorrow. Keep them realistic, but meaningful. Ask yourself, if I only finished these 3 things, would I feel proud of my day? Are these tasks aligned with the life I want to build? Am I choosing these, or am I just reacting again? Then when you wake up, don't start your day by checking your phone. Start with your number 1 priority. No distractions. No second guessing. Just you, your task, and your full attention. Even if it takes just 20 or 30 minutes, that focused energy will change everything. Now don't get me wrong. It won't be perfect at first. You'll get distracted. You'll forget. Old habits will creep in. But don't quit. Because the moment you start treating your time like it's sacred, you'll realize how much of it you've been wasting. You'll stop being pulled in every direction. You'll stop letting the world decide what your day should look like. And you'll start building your life, one clear, focused day at a time. The deeper truth is this: the way you spend your days is the way you spend your life. And if you don't take control of your time, someone else will. So before anything else, before you scroll, before you react, take 5 minutes to set your 3 priorities. Because when you control your day, you take back your life. And that's the first step to everything else you want. Habit number 2, clean space, clear mind. Here's something most people don't realize. Your physical space is a reflection of your mental state. If your desk is messy, your room is chaotic, and your phone is cluttered with apps and unread notifications, chances are your mind feels the same way. And it's not just a theory. Science backs it up. A disorganized space increases stress, decreases focus, and makes it harder to think clearly. Even if you don't notice it, that mess is pulling at your attention all day long. Let me paint you a picture. You sit down to work, but your desk is buried in papers. You try to relax, but your room feels overwhelming. You want to get things done, but your laptop has 37 tabs open and your phone is buzzing every few minutes. You feel drained before you even start. That was me. For years, I told myself, I'm just a creative person. My chaos is part of my process. But deep down, I knew the truth. The clutter wasn't inspiring me. It was slowing me down. Then one weekend, I did something simple. I cleaned my entire workspace. Not just rearranged. I got rid of anything I didn't use, didn't need, or didn't even like. I threw out old papers, boxed up random junk, deleted apps I never touched, and organized my files into folders that actually made sense. And when I was done, I sat at my desk and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace, clarity, lightness. It was like my brain could finally breathe. Here's what I learned. Decluttering isn't just about aesthetics. It's not just about looking tidy. It's about creating an environment that supports the person you want to become. Because your space isn't neutral. It either energizes you or it weighs you down. So, how do you apply this habit? Start small. You don't need to Marie Kondo your whole life in one afternoon. Begin with the space you spend the most time in, your desk, your bedroom, your kitchen counter, wherever you go to think or create. Here's a simple process. Clear everything out. Take everything off the surface. Ask yourself, do I use this? Do I love this? Does this serve me? If the answer is no, let it go. Trash it, donate it, or give it away. Organize what's left in a way that makes sense to you, not to Pinterest, not to perfectionism, just to you. And finally, keep it that way. Not perfectly, but intentionally. This isn't about being spotless. It's about being strategic. And don't forget your digital space. Your phone, your laptop, your inbox. These are extensions of your mind. And if they're cluttered, it affects you more than you think. Delete apps you never use. Unsubscribe from email lists you never read. Clean your desktop and organize your files. Even just changing your wallpaper to something peaceful can shift your mood. Here's something that stuck with me. Clutter is not just stuff on your floor. It's anything that stands between you and the life you want to live. That includes broken things you've been meaning to fix, clothes you haven't worn in years, old notebooks filled with goals you gave up on. Letting go isn't easy. We hold on to stuff because it feels safe, familiar, or like, maybe one day I'll need this. But most of the time, it's just weight. It's just noise. And clearing it out sends a powerful message to yourself. I'm ready to move forward. You'll be amazed how different your life feels when you walk into a room that feels clean, calm, and clear. It's like giving your brain permission to focus, create, and breathe. And that mental clarity? It spills into everything else, your work, your relationships, your confidence. So here's your challenge. Pick one space today. Just one. And clean it like your future depends on it. Because in a way, it does. The clearer your space, the clearer your mind. And with a clear mind, you're unstoppable. Habit number 3. Journal every morning. Clear your mind before the world gets in. Let me ask you something real quick. When was the last time you sat with your own thoughts? Without distractions, without noise, without judgment. Most people wake up and immediately dive headfirst into the chaos of the world. They check emails, scroll through social media, reply to messages, And before they even get out of bed, their mind is already overwhelmed. They don't take a moment to ask, how do I feel today? What's bothering me? What do I actually want? That's where morning journaling comes in. And no, it's not just for writers, overthinkers, or people with a lot of time on their hands. It's for anyone who wants clarity, focus, and a real connection to themselves. Let me tell you how I started. For the longest time, I thought journaling was kind of pointless. I didn't see the value. I was too busy. And honestly, I didn't want to confront what was really going on in my head. But life has a way of catching up to you when you're not paying attention. I was feeling stuck, foggy, always in a reactive mode. So one morning I just wrote. No rules. No format. I opened a blank page and started dumping out everything swirling in my mind. And to my surprise, it felt like I had finally opened a window. The mental clutter started to clear. Thoughts that had been buried or jumbled suddenly made sense on paper. It wasn't poetic. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. And that honesty became a habit that changed how I started every single day. So why does this habit work? Because journaling gives your brain a safe space to process before the world rushes in. It lets you slow down, breathe, and listen to yourself. Instead of bottling up stress, fear, confusion, or excitement, you get it all out. You declutter your mind the same way you would clean your desk. And the best part? You start seeing patterns. You begin to notice, oh wow, I keep stressing about this. Or, why does this same fear show up every week? That awareness is powerful. Because once you understand what's happening in your inner world, you can change how you show up in the outer world. How to apply this in your life is simpler than you think. You don't need a fancy notebook or a deep prompt. You just need 5 to 10 minutes and a bit of honesty. Start your mornings like this. Grab a notebook or open your notes app. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What's been on my mind lately? What do I want to focus on today? What's one thing I'm grateful for this morning? Don't filter. Don't overthink. Just write. Even if it's messy. Even if it doesn't make sense. You're not writing for anyone else. You're writing for you. Some days you might fill pages. Other days it might be a few bullet points. Both are perfectly fine. Because the goal isn't to write perfectly. The goal is to connect, to clear, to reflect. And that's where the real magic happens. Here's the deeper message. Morning journaling is like holding up a mirror to your mind. It forces you to slow down and look at what's really going on inside. Not to judge it, but to understand it. And most people avoid that. They stay busy, distracted, scrolling, because they're afraid of what they might see if they stop and look inward. But here's the truth. You can't change your life if you're disconnected from your own thoughts. When you journal, you take back that connection. You stop running on autopilot. You stop living in reaction. And you start moving with clarity, purpose, and peace. So tomorrow morning, instead of reaching for your phone, reach for a pen. Or open your notes. And give yourself those first 10 minutes of truth. You'll be amazed how different the rest of your day feels when you begin it fully grounded in your own voice. Because the most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Habit number 4, exercise daily, move your body, strengthen your mind. Let's get one thing straight. This habit isn't just about building abs or burning fat. It's about building discipline. We all know exercise is good for us, right? But knowing something and actually doing it every day are two very different things. And let's be honest, most people treat exercise like a punishment, like it's something they should do, but never really want to. They say things like, I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll start next week. Sound familiar? I said all of that too, over and over, until I realized something powerful. Daily movement isn't about having time. It's about making a choice. Here's the truth most people miss. When you move your body, you're not just improving your health. You're training your brain. You're building resilience. You're proving to yourself that you can do hard things, even when you don't feel like it. And that mindset? That's what changes everything. Let me tell you how I started. There was a point in my life when I only worked out occasionally. When I felt like it. Sometimes that meant once a week. Sometimes it meant skipping a whole month. I told myself I was busy. that I had more important things to do. But what I really lacked was consistency, and my life reflected it. I had low energy, my sleep was off, my mood was unpredictable, and mentally I just felt off. One day I decided to make a small change. Not a 90-day challenge, not a gym membership, just 15 minutes of movement every day no matter what. At first it felt silly, like it wouldn't do anything. But after the first week I noticed something subtle. I was more focused, my mind was sharper, my mood was lighter. I felt in control again. Why does this happen? Because when you move your body, even just a little, it changes your chemistry. Exercise releases endorphins, reduces stress hormones, and literally rebalances your brain. But more importantly, it reminds you that you have power. Power to choose effort over comfort. Power to act even when you're tired. Power to show up for yourself even on the days when everything else feels messy. And here's the best part. You don't need to go to a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't even need a plan. You just need to move. Walk around your block. Do 10 push-ups in your room. Stretch for 15 minutes. Follow a quick YouTube video. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen. Here's how to start. Set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. Choose something simple. A walk, a short workout, jumping jacks, bodyweight squats, dancing, anything. Do it. Every day. No excuses. Track it. A checkbox. A calendar. Something visual. Watching your consistency grow is fuel. At first your body might resist. Your mind will come up with reasons to skip. But push through that first week. That first layer of discomfort. Because once it becomes a habit, you'll crave it. Not just for your body, but for your clarity, your confidence, and your calm. Let's get deeper for a second. Your body is the only place you have to live. It carries you through your dreams, your struggles, your relationships, your work, everything. And if you don't take care of it, everything else suffers. You can have big goals, a strong mindset, a clear vision. But if your energy is low and your body is breaking down, you'll never reach your full potential. So take care of it. Not to impress anyone, not to chase aesthetics, but because your future self deserves a strong, healthy, dependable body. Daily movement is not about motivation. It's about commitment. It's not about being extreme. It's about showing up every day, even if it's just a little. And over time, that little adds up. It becomes your edge, your anchor, your fuel. So here's your challenge. Today, move for 15 minutes. No pressure, no perfection. Just move. And tomorrow, do it again. And the next day, keep going. Because every drop of sweat, every push, every step is a message to yourself. I'm not quitting on me. Habit number 5. Limit social media to 15 minutes a day. Reclaim your mind. Let's be honest. Social media is not just a tool anymore. It's a trap. It's where minutes turn into hours, and focus turns into distraction. 1 second you're checking a message, next thing you know you've been scrolling for 45 minutes, wondering where your day went. And we justify it, right? I'm staying informed. I'm just winding down. I needed a break. But here's the truth. Most of us aren't using social media. It's using us. It's designed to be addictive. Every swipe, every notification, every like triggers a little dopamine hit that keeps you coming back. And while you're scrolling through highlight reels of other people's lives, your own life is sitting in the background, waiting for your attention. I know this because I lived it. I used to reach for my phone the second I woke up. No meditation, no deep breath, no direction. Just thumb to screen. And every time I'd fall into the same spiral. Compare. Consume. Repeat. I didn't realize how much it was affecting me until I stopped. One day I set a timer. 15 minutes. That's it. Just 15 minutes a day to check in, respond if needed, and log off. At first it felt like withdrawal. I caught myself reaching for my phone out of habit, bored, anxious, distracted. But after a week, something strange happened. I was thinking clearer. I was less anxious. And I had time, actual time, to do the things I had been putting off for months. The fog started to lift. And I realized just how much mental space social media had been renting in my head, for free. Here's what people get wrong. Cutting back on social media isn't about being anti-technology. It's about being pro-you. You get one mind. one life, one shot at building something meaningful. And if you're giving hours a day to mindless scrolling, what's left for your goals? Your creativity? Your peace? Every minute you give to someone else's curated life is a minute taken from your own. So, how do you apply this habit? Simple. Start today. Set a hard limit, 15 minutes a day. Use a timer or an app blocker if you need to. Be intentional. Only open social media when you choose to, not just when you're bored. Turn off non-essential notifications. You don't need to be alerted every time someone posts a story or likes your photo. Create social media-free zones. No scrolling first thing in the morning. No checking right before bed. Protect the beginning and end of your day. And here's a powerful one. Delete the apps from your home screen. Make it just inconvenient enough to pause and ask, do I really need to open this right now? What you'll discover is this. You're not missing anything important. Your anxiety decreases. Your attention span grows. Your mind feels yours again. And with all that extra time and energy, you can write, think, create, mold, connect. You can actually live your life without constantly documenting it. Let's go even deeper. Social media makes you believe that everyone else is ahead of you, that their lives are better, cleaner, happier, more successful. But it's not real. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. And that comparison robs you of gratitude, peace, and progress. When you limit social media, you stop looking sideways and start looking forward. You stop asking, what are they doing? And start asking, what do I want? You don't need to quit forever. You just need to take back control. 15 minutes a day. That's all it takes to reset your mind and reclaim your focus. Because your attention is currency, and you get to decide where it goes. So here's your challenge. Today, track your screen time. Set a 15-minute daily limit. Replace scrolling with something real. A book, a workout, a conversation, a quiet moment. Watch how much more present, peaceful, and powerful you feel. You don't need to live through a screen to feel alive. You just need to look up and start living your own story. Habit number 6. Go outside for 30 minutes a day. Reset your body and mind with nature. In a world where we live more on screens than in reality, it's easy to forget one simple truth. You were not built for concrete walls and artificial lights. You were built for sunlight, fresh air, and open space. And yet, most people spend 90% of their day indoors, working under fluorescent lights, scrolling through glass screens, breathing recycled air. We've become disconnected from the very thing that recharges us, nature. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you stood outside and just existed? No phone, no agenda, no rush, just you and the wind, the trees, the sky. Sounds simple, maybe even boring, but it might be exactly what your nervous system is begging for. I didn't always get this. I used to go days, sometimes weeks, without spending meaningful time outdoors. Unless I was rushing to my car or running errands, I didn't see the point. But during a particularly stressful time in my life, something shifted. I started going outside every morning, just for a walk around the block. No headphones, no scrolling, just movement and sunlight. And after a few days, I noticed something unexpected. My thoughts were quieter. My stress levels dropped. I started sleeping better. And my energy in the morning? Different, calmer, stronger. It wasn't a miracle. It was biology. Here's what nature does to your body. Lowers cortisol, your stress hormone. Increases serotonin, your feel-good chemical. Regulates your circadian rhythm. Boosts focus, memory, and mood. Gives your overstimulated brain a break. And here's the best part. You don't need to hike through mountains to feel it. 30 minutes a day is all it takes. That could be a walk in the park, sitting on a bench under a tree, standing barefoot in your yard, even just stretching on your balcony. The point isn't where you go. The point is that you go. So how do you start this habit? Make it part of your daily rhythm, like brushing your teeth or eating lunch. Pick a consistent time, morning, lunch break, or evening. Leave your phone behind or put it on airplane mode. Don't overthink it. Just step outside and start moving, or sit quietly and breathe. Pay attention to the little things. The feel of the breeze, the sound of birds, the warmth of sunlight on your skin. Let your senses reset. Let your mind slow down. This is not wasted time. It's repair. It's reconnection. Because when you reconnect with nature, you reconnect with yourself. You remember that life isn't meant to be lived entirely online. That your problems, while real, are not everything. That there's a world outside your head, and it's more healing than you realize. Here's something that stuck with me. You don't have to figure everything out in your head. Sometimes you just need to go outside and let the sky remind you how big the world really is. It's humbling, it's grounding, and it puts everything in perspective. That email, that deadline, that comment that's been bothering you, they start to feel a little smaller when you're staring at the sky, breathing deeply, watching the sun melt into the horizon. The deeper truth is this: we were never meant to live so disconnected, from the earth, from our bodies, from the present moment. Going outside for 30 minutes isn't just a wellness trend. It's returning to something ancient, something human. And in a world that's always speeding up, stepping outside is how you slow down. It's how you reset, how you recharge, how you remember what really matters. So here's your challenge. Today, step outside for 30 minutes. Not to be productive, not to achieve anything, just to be. Let nature hold you. Let your mind breathe. And watch how differently you come back to your life after that. Let's take a step back. What do these 6 habits have in common? They're simple, they're free, and they're fully within your control. No one can stop you from setting your priorities. No one can stop you from cleaning your space. No one can stop you from writing down your thoughts, moving your body, limiting your screen time, or stepping outside. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start. Because change doesn't begin with some grand gesture. It begins in the tiny, consistent decisions you make every single day. And here's something they never taught us in school. Your habits shape your identity. Your identity shapes your decisions. And your decisions? They determine your life. So when you commit to these small daily shifts, you're not just improving your productivity, you're rewiring who you are. From overwhelmed to intentional. From distracted to focused. From reactive to powerful. This isn't just about doing more. It's about becoming more. Let me ask you something personal. What kind of person do you want to be 6 months from now? Someone who's constantly behind, burnt out, lost in noise? Or someone who wakes up with clarity, moves through life with purpose, and ends each day with peace of mind? You don't get that life by accident. You build it, one habit at a time. And if you're still thinking, can something this small really change my life? Let me remind you, so much of your life is shaped by what you do when no one's watching. Not the big wins, but the quiet, invisible choices. Waking up early instead of hitting snooze. Writing instead of scrolling. Going for a walk instead of complaining. Choosing discomfort over delay. Choosing growth over excuses. That's how real transformation happens. Here's the educational truth behind it. Every time you follow through on a habit, even a tiny one, you're building something called self-efficacy. It's your belief in your ability to change your life. And studies show that people who build this inner trust go further, handle stress better, and bounce back faster. So these habits aren't just good for your schedule. They're training your brain to believe in you. Look, this world is noisy. Everyone's trying to sell you shortcuts, hacks, and overnight success. But the truth? You don't need more noise. You need clarity, simplicity, and action. And these 6 habits? They're your starting point. So here's your final challenge. Don't just watch this video. Don't just agree with the message. Apply it. Live it. Repeat it. Pick one habit. Start today. Track your progress. Fall off? Get back on. Messy counts. Effort counts. Progress counts. Because the version of you you're dreaming of, they're not somewhere far away. They're on the other side of a few small, consistent habits, repeated every single day. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs it. Let them know they're not stuck. They're just one habit away from momentum. And don't forget to subscribe, tap the like button, and hit the notification bell, because every week we bring you content that's not just inspiring, but transformational. You've got this. The future you want? It starts now.